Her message was clear to Kelly and her daughter, so we're going to have her explain to you exactly what happened. What did Lizzo say to you guys?
Oh, I could not have written a better script. My daughter just said to her, "I love you so much." And Lizzo looked at her and grabbed her hand and said, "But what's most important is that you love yourself."
Oh, cute.
Wow.
You often meet your idols or a celebrity and they let you down. This is a moment where she lived up.
Oh my gosh. And she took a selfie with her and it's blown up in her room. And it's just
I know this is
such an
just a regular
inspiration.
Friday.
Cute.
And we know what it's like to meet celebrities.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes fun and sometimes less so, but to be fun and also get a message from them is so deep and meaningful and aligns with what you do.
It absolutely does. I mean, I really work with young girls and women to engage in self-love and to really focus on things that you like about yourself. Instead, oftentimes we're so busy critiquing ourselves and looking at things we don't like about ourselves. And really, the younger we start with training the way that we think about ourselves and the things that we love about ourselves, the easier it's going to be as we become adults.
So you didn't set this up?
My family thought I did.
You couldn't have written it better, right?
Tell Lizzo exactly what to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. How incredible. And here's the deal. You know, as a parent, like, it's one thing to tell your girls something, even if this is what you do for other people, to tell your own girls, they don't always listen to mom.
Absolutely.
So to have somebody that they look up to say it. So for people who will listen to you, who aren't your own kids, what is self-love? What do you tell young girls and women and men that self-love is?
You know, and you guys touched on it in the beginning of the show, this idea of, you know, not being selfish, but really focusing on embracing who you are, and that love comes from within. And as somebody who wrote an autobiography about how I didn't love myself so much and all the places I turned to look to fill that hole for love, it never worked until I started focusing inward and really focusing on positive self-talk and positive love.
Yeah.
And so defining self-love is one thing, but we have some roadblocks to it on our own. But how do you actually teach someone to self-love?
So I'm a huge advocate, like you were saying earlier, about a gratitude journal, being able to write things down that really lift you up and being able to see it. I oftentimes will suggest some of my clients write Post-it notes so that if they can't think of it on their own, they're seeing it in the mirror in the morning or on the dashboard in their car. And really, it can give you a pep in your step. It's just about reframing the way that you talk to yourself.
I love it. My mom used to leave Post-it notes everywhere. So that was, and we do it back and forth still. So every time before I leave, when I'm home, I leave a Post-it note that says something sweet to her. So when she opens the door or whatever, it's there. And when I come home, she always keeps them. And I keep all of hers as well.
Thoughtful.
Yeah, so those notes, like they do. And to do it for yourself, if you don't have somebody to do it for you, is just as important. So as you were talking about teaching yourself, what happens when we seek self-love outside from others? Because, you know, we talked about that a little bit this morning, but what do you see clinically? Like, what is it?
Approval,
what happens?
validation.
Sure. So oftentimes people will start to feel depressed or anxious because they can't self-regulate their emotions or their feelings. And as you had mentioned, feelings ebb and flow. And so if we can tap into our own ability and our own
Self-soothing almost.
thank you. The dialogue that we say to ourselves, we can automatically notice a shift in our mood.
So what if somebody speaks really mean to themselves? I have some friends that admit to that, and they'll say, I talk very cruel to myself. I wouldn't do that to my daughter, or if somebody was talking to them that way, I would be really mad at them, but I hear myself doing it to myself. How do you stop that cycle and that pattern?
So there is something that I call an automatic thought stopping technique, and remembering we're not responsible for our first thought, it's our preceding thoughts after that. So first is awareness, right? Recognizing that you're doing it, and then being able to say, so many people say that. I would not say that to somebody else. Why do I say it to myself? So picture yourself as a 5-year-old girl and how you would embrace that inner child and what you would say to him or her.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's almost like if you could go back in time and you think about the advice you would give, because we always think, oh, what would I do if I knew then what I know now? So you're saying in these moments of to stop, recognize, and then be able to envision your younger self.
Yes, and for every one automatic negative thought you say to yourself, you need to replace it with 3 positive ones.
Cute.
And so sometimes people think that they're lying to themselves, but fake it till you make it, and just continue to feel grounded in validating yourself and stop looking for it in other places.
And we know what we say to ourselves. I mean, you know what you say to yourself. I know what I say to myself. And
Right.
same with you guys. And it's like, those are the things that first thought, fine, let it go. But it's the follow-up thoughts. I love that tip. Your book, people can get a hold of it, the Myself.
Yes, on Amazon.
Great. And what will they get from it? What is it? Who's it for?
Oh, it's for everybody, and it's about walking in your story and owning your story and not feeling shame.
Does it cover, I know that, not to interrupt, but like
Yeah.
your childhood, you had to teach yourself how to self-love too, right? You had a difficult experience.
Yes,
Is that in your book?
absolutely, it is. And it just talks about my journey in the transformation that I felt in learning to love myself as a 40-year-old woman.
Yeah, love it, Kelly.
Thank you
I'm so
so
glad
much.
that your daughter had that experience.
Yes.
How cool.
And it's
Thank you
been
for
so
sharing
useful.
Thank you.
that. And again, Kelly Kitley's book is called Myself, and you can find it right on Amazon.